Hey, Pete here. We're going to look at multi-word verbs now. Okay, so let me give you a couple of examples. She got up early this morning. He's trying to give up smoking. Okay, so a multi-word verb has a verb, right? For example, get in she got up early this morning, and one or sometimes two particles. A particle is, for example, up. In both these examples, right? She got up early this morning. He's trying to give up smoking. Up is the particle, okay? And the meaning may be literal. For example, she got up early this morning is literal, right? I mean, she literally got up out of her bed, right? But also some multi-word verbs are non-literal. For example, he's trying to give up smoking. So it's not literally like give up, right? So that's an example of a non-literal meaning, all right? So that's something that they have in common with idioms, right? The other thing to think about is the form, right? So some multi-word verbs are separable, right? This means the object can go between the verb and the particle, all right? So give smoking up, right? The object smoking goes between the verb give and the particle up. So that's a separable multi-word verb. All right. Let's take a closer look at these. So um, this same one, right? We can say give up smoking. In this case, the verb give and up are together, right? But as I said, it's a separable phrasal verb. So we can also say he's trying to give smoking up, right? As we said before, in this case, the object goes between the verb give and the particle up. And we can also use a pronoun. So he's trying to give it up, right? So it, the pronoun, goes between. So it is the object pronoun, right? It goes between the verb give and the particle up, right? And when it comes to the pronoun, right, it always goes between the particle up, in this case, right, and the verb give. So you can't say he's trying to give up it, right? No. So it has to go between the verb give and the particle up, all right? So just to summarize with the form, when it's a separable phrasal verb, right, then the object, if it's the noun, right, in this case, smoking, it can go after the verb and the particle or between, right, the verb and the particle. But if it's the pronoun, it has to go between the verb and the particle, okay? And in terms of the pronunciation, so often the verb and the particle are stressed, all right? He's trying to give up, right? So give and up both take a stress. Or he's trying to give it up. Notice that it was unstressed, but the verb give and the particle up was stressed. He's trying to give it up. Okay, now inseparable multi-word verbs, right? An inseparable multi-word verb means that the object does not separate the verb from its particle. So you can't put the object between the verb and the particle, right? It has to go after, all right? Now some transitive, so transitive means that a transitive verb means it takes an object. Some transitive multi-word verbs are separable, right? So we had the example, give smoking up. It's a transitive verb because it takes an object, smoking, and it's separable. It can go between the verb and the particle up, all right? But we're now looking at inseparable multi-word verbs. So an example of a transitive multi-word verb that is inseparable is look after someone, right? You can't say look someone after, right? So to summarize, with transitive multi-word verbs, they can be separable or inseparable, all right? Now, an intransitive phrasal verb or multi-word verb, right, does not take an object, okay? So because it doesn't take an object, it's inseparable. All right, because remember, when it's separable, it's because the object separates the verb from the particle. Okay. Examples. She got up early this morning. Right. That's an intransitive phrasal verb. There's no object. There's only a subject, she. Right. Or my car broke down last week. Right. My car is the subject. There is no object. I can't say I broke my car down. No, my car broke down. All right. Okay. Now you can check if the phrasal verb is transitive or intransitive in a dictionary, right? So, for example, here we have Macmillan Dictionary, right? And I typed in look after. Right here you can type in the word, right? Okay, now to look after it says phrasal verb transitive. There you go. So look after we know takes an object. All right. And here, you can also look at the definition, right? Look after someone or something, to take care of someone or something, and make certain that they have everything they need, right? And you can find an example. It's hard looking after 3 children all day, all right? So as I said, when it's a transitive phrasal verb, it could be separable or inseparable. In this case, we already said look after is inseparable, all right? So that means that we can't say it's hard work looking 3 children after. No, it's hard looking after 3 children. Looking and after are inseparable, the verb and the particle, all right? Now if we check breakdown, right? So breakdown says phrasal verb, right? Now there are different definitions, right? But we're looking at the meaning about machines and vehicles, right? We're just looking at that one today. So yeah, again, it says intransitive, right? So this time it's intransitive. It does not take an object, right? And we know that if it does not take an object, then it has to be inseparable, right? So the car broke down just outside Winchester. All right, so broke verb and down particle. We cannot separate with an object. There is no object. Yeah, there is only a subject. Okay. Okay, and well, finally, we also have 3-part multi-word verbs, right? And these are always inseparable. Okay, so 3 parts means a verb and 2 particles. All right, so I have an example here. Come up with an idea. So come is the verb, and we have 2 particles, up and with. All right. As I said, these are always inseparable. All right. So you can't say, for example, come an idea up with. Doesn't work. All right.